And we looked at it from the perspective of a psychological disorder perspective, and that is sort of gender dysphoria against muscle dysmorphia. Gender dysphoria is the DSM-5 disorder, identity disorder, where, hey, I'm born in the wrong body. I was born in this female body, but I identify as a male, as a man, and so I want to use testosterone to change my phenotype to comport and comply with how I feel on the inside. And muscle dysmorphia is the name that DSM-5 gives to what we might think of as bigorexia, sort of reverse anorexia. In other words, the person who looks in the mirror, typically a male, who looks in the mirror, although it can happen in certainly in females as well, but looks in the mirror and says, I don't identify as the 140-pound person that I see in the mirror. I identify as a 240-pound, solid, jacked specimen superhero. And I want testosterone to change my phenotype so that I can identify, my phenotype and my self-identification are in line. Now, we asked that's essentially another way of asking your question. And we looked at that, and, in no way were we suggesting that the two are on the same level or necessarily should be treated the same. I think how you identify from a gender perspective obviously is much more integral to who you are as a person, rather than simply, hey, I want to be more jacked. I get that. I'm not comparing them or equating them in any way, other than that in one, it's celebrated and encouraged that, oh, yes, if you're born female, we can prescribe testosterone so you can be further along that non-binary trail toward maleness, even if you don't want to be fully male. And there was a interesting article I remember reading before we worked on this piece, where a person who had been born a female basically said, you know what? I am so happy. I'm being prescribed testosterone. I don't want to be a man. I just want to be more masculine. I want broader shoulders. I want a wider jaw. I want to be able to grow a beard. I want to present myself because I don't feel like a woman, but I feel non-binary. And so I want to present this non-binary phenotype to the world that comports with who I am. I've been prescribed testosterone, and it's the best thing that ever happened to me. And I'm reading it, and that certainly, if stripping away the gender identification stuff, there's a cosmetic component to that, clearly. Sure. And which is what the muscle dysmorphia aspect is. It's purely cosmetic. I get that, but it also goes to how you see yourself. There's a certain self-identity component to your muscularity as well. And so we asked the question, not suggesting that if you want to get jacked, you should be given a cycle of steroids. We weren't saying that, but we were saying that the difference in treatment between one being essentially looked upon with great favor in our culture today, and the other where handcuffs are going on and you're going to jail if you're a physician who supports doing that for a bodybuilder for non-medical reasons, that disparity is too great. I mean, that's a Grand Canyon of difference. And does the admitted existence of the difference between the two justify a gulf that wide? And so we asked that question. Needless to say, we got pushback in the peer review process, asking those sorts of, wait a minute, are you saying that, somebody who wants steroids to get bigger muscles should just be given? Well, no, we're not saying. Are you saying these two things are the same? No, we're not saying that either. We're just saying that these two things have never been compared or looked at in this way before. And one is like A-OK, and the other, somebody's going to prison. Exactly. Is that warranted? Exactly. And it was published, and it's in the Journal of Addiction, and you can read it. It's a great question about whether the current status of those two things in a policy way is justified or not.